Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thunder Today podcast. I am your host, Dylan Hibbard, and Game 2 of the NBA Finals was last night, and the OKC Thunder took Game 2 123 to 107, and the series is now tied up 1-1 going back to Indiana on Wednesday, and this game overall, which I feel like is going to be a big topic, is the game was just kind of boring. It just kind of felt like, which isn't a bad thing, but it kind of felt from tip the Thunder controlled the game and just kind of kept that lead from 20 about from 22 to 15 points the entire time, and they learned from their mistakes in game 1 and they just kind of kept it at that until the end and cruised to the victory. That was one of the big things compared to game 1 to 2 was it was a lot of the same in the first half. Like, Thunder controlled it. It looked like, but the Pacers kept it close enough to where it's like you're not really comfortable as a Thunder fan because you know what happened in game 1. But every time the Thunder or the Pacers would kind of go on like a little 6-0 run or like a little run of themselves, Dagnall would call a timeout and kind of regroup the guys. And then once we got out of the timeout, the Thunder would go on their 10-0 run to put it back up to 20 plus. So I think the use of timeouts and just overall play was a lot better from the Thunder. And looking back at it, the game was just kind of, you just kind of expected the Thunder win. I feel like a lot of people found it hard that the Thunder would go down 2-0 on their home court. I don't feel like, especially the way game 1 ended. And if you kind of look at it overall, the Thunder have led so much in this series. You have the Pacers only leading game 1 by 0.3, and I'm trying to think if the Pacers led at all. Maybe if they made the first bucket. I was late to getting to the TV, so I wasn't sure about that. But like, it felt like the Thunder were ahead the entire game in this one as well. So I think by far we're the better team, and I think everybody would agree on that. So it's just more not getting comfortable and kind of moving with the flow in that aspect, and realizing that the Pacers, a 20-point lead with the Pacers feels like a 8-point lead. So you just got to keep your rhythm. And another big thing from this game was the contribution from the players outside of Shea. J-Dub kind of got it going. Still didn't have an amazing J-Dub game by any means, but he was a lot better. You had Chet, who we'll talk about in a minute, but I was really impressed with him overall. You had Caruso, who dropped 20. I mean, Caruso is, the best pickup I've seen in a long time for a team fit, and it's wild to see. You had the man who saved basketball, Aaron Wiggins, drop 18 points, which I think is easily the difference maker of this game, and possibly we're obviously Shea's the player of the game every game, but for me, Aaron Wiggins was the player of this game. He had 5 threes. He came off the bench and played absolutely huge minutes. And to me, every NBA Finals team that you look at who won the championship throughout the finals, at least one game had a game from one of their role players that just got streaky, got hot, and absolutely felt it. And that was this game for Aaron Wiggins, and the Thunder will absolutely take that. Now, will we see that in game 3 and 4 where he's out there dropping another 18? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not, because now the Pacers are going to expect it. So now you got to get those points back, whether it's Jada picking him up or another bench guy, whether it be Wallace playing a little bit better, because Wallace hasn't played that great so far in these first 2 games. Maybe Hartenstein coming off the bench and scoring a bit more, but we know Hartenstein's not a score-first guy. He's more of a facilitator and rebounder. Maybe you get it from a Kenrich Williams or Isaiah Joe who got big minutes. The Thunder still played 10 minutes in this, or 10 guys in this, but Kenrich got big minutes. He didn't show up on the box score, but he was a quality guy. Isaiah Joe made a 3. He couldn't get it quite going, but I feel like one of these Indiana games, I feel like you might get an Isaiah Joe game where he drops 3 or 4 threes and gives you a big 12 points that could get you to victory in one of these. But I'm interested to see how the Thunder bench continues and how the Pacers are now looking at Aaron Wiggins and whether he's a guy that they're going to kind of start worrying about later on in this series. Going back to Chet, one of the things I wanted to talk about is I just feel like he's one of the biggest X factor, or is the biggest X factor in the rest of the series. And you look at his stat line from this game, 15.6 rebounds and a block, and it doesn't blow you away by any means, but just the impact he makes as a 7'1" guy with like a 7'10" wingspan or whatever it is, he's just on pace. He's going to be an all-time rim protector. I'm not going to say defender because he's not that great on the perimeter, but as just a pure shot blocker, he might be the best, just based off of pure shot blocking, he might be the best in the league. You can make an argument for Wemby, but it just feels like Chet's the guy where the Pacers are so focused on Shea and J-Dub because they are your offensive guys. If Chet can get the shot from the three like he did last night, if he can get those lobs from the dunker spot, he's going to have a quick 18 points, and that's massive when you add in your 6+ rebounds, and then most of the time you're getting a few blocks in there as well. So he's not going to be your favorite offensive person to watch, but on the defensive end, his impact is almost bare to none, as in there's not very many defenders that are better than him, to me at least. Chet's the best defender on the Thunder. I mean, which is crazy to say. You can go through, but I feel like Chet, Caruso, and Dort are your three best defenders. I just think I think if you gave Chet his own team, you would see how much of a better defender he is and what his stats show. Just because the Thunder's perimeter defense is so good, guys aren't able to drive in and want to drive in to go up for a shot where Chet can block because the Thunder's perimeter guys don't let him go in there. So to me, Chet's by far the best defender. Not by far the best defender on the Thunder, but he is to me. And hopefully he continues to show that. Hopefully he can stay healthy all of next season, because this guy has a chance to be a top 10 guy in the league, no joke, if he's healthy and reaches his potential. So hopefully we'll see that from him. On the Pacers side of the thing, yes, you'll go look at the box score and see that Tyrese had his 17 points, 6 assists, whatever, and it'd be like, okay, not a terrible game from him. 12 of those points were in the fourth quarter when the game was kind of already not completely done, but you could tell the Pacers weren't very confident that they were coming back, so Tyrese was kind of just getting those buckets at the end. In minutes that mattered, Tyrese only had 5 points, and the Thunder just absolutely made him a non-factor in this. He was continuing to get his shot offs, but they were all leaning threes. They didn't look like his shots. A lot of those threes he took, there was one that was nearly at half court, and I'm just wondering why he's trying to do that. I feel like the Thunder made him not play like himself, which is huge for a guy like Tyrese Haliburton, because he does his role so well in the playmaking aspect and then going to score next, and driving at that point where the Thunder kind of forced him to shoot those threes, those leaners that he's probably not as comfortable with, and it paid off for the Thunder, and that's huge. I mean, you give a guy like Tyrese Haliburton, you only let him have 5 points, only 3 points in the first half as well. Like, every time the Thunder locked down the other team's best player to this extent, it's just amazing to see. You saw it with Ja in the first round. Granted, Jokic was still Jokic, but I mean, Jokic didn't have his typical playoff series even in the second round. And then you had Ant, who most of those, or a couple of those in the Western Conference Finals, he didn't even get above 20 points. He was around the 15 range. And now you have this game where Tyrese granted had 17, but realistically only had about 5 or 7 points. So the Thunder continue just to be an all-time defense. I mean, they they didn't even have to force the turnovers like they did in game one. That was the thing we talked about on this channel was the Thunder forced so many turnovers, yet they lost. But then you go to this game, the Thunder were just playing straight up really good defense, not even forcing the ball over that much as we're used to. And they still, it was at halftime, and the Pacers were at 40 points. Like, it was a bad offensive game from the Pacers, yes, but the Thunder's defense is just, each and every game we go by, I'm like, this Thunder defense is just an all time anomaly, and it was just so fun to watch. And one more quick thing on this game is Shea as a Shea's becoming a playmaker, and they talked a little bit about it on the broadcast on ABC. I believe it was Doris Burke, but like Shea has everything else on the offensive end. You're never gonna stop him. You're never gonna speed him up. Blah blah blah. He'll do what he wants, scoring wise. The next step for him is if you want to great players continue to get great. Shea's slowly starting to figure out that playmaking, and it's just not even the assist numbers or how many assists you're gonna put up or the flashy passes. It's just making a good decision. And if you looked at this game compared to game one, granted Shea didn't score as much, but you almost have to say overall Shea's decision making and was better in this game and was overall better in this game. So to me, if Shea continues to work on that playmaking where he becomes an above average playmaker, he's already a pretty good playmaker because I mean it's Shea, he's still a good playmaker, but if you can add to that in this off season and make it even harder for people to know what you're gonna do, it just elevates your game to another level. But let me know what you guys think down below about Game 2. The Thunder even up the series at 1. Game 3 in Indiana will be on Wednesday, and then Game 4 will be on Friday. So 2-day break here, and then only a 1-day break in between Games 3 and 4. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below, and until next time, peace.